Welcome to Global SCM Leaders on Demand. We are here in Houston, Texas. I'm Joe O'Reilly, senior writer for Inbound Logistics magazine. I'm joined by Anton du Preez, group sales director at Cirrus Logistics. Anton, can you just tell me a little bit about your company?
Sure. Cirrus Logistics, we're a company over 20 years old. We focus on providing decision support solutions for industries such as oil and gas, retail, logistics providers. And that spans a couple of areas. At the one end, we deal with modeling and simulation of warehouse operations. We also help customers, particularly in the oil and gas sector, optimize their network operations and distribution of product across a geography. And then also we manage the scheduling of vessels, particularly oil and gas vessels in ports and terminals.
What are some of the benefits of this structured decision support versus more traditional methods?
If you look at traditional methods of decision support, those are often based on perhaps gut feel or static, simple spreadsheet models. And those struggle with complexity, they struggle with changes over time. So an example might be, let's say in a warehouse, if you changed your outbound vehicle schedules, what impact would that have on the labor in your warehouse? Would you still cope? Would you perhaps run out of capacity in your staging areas? So there are all of those interrelated processes that need to be thought through and modeled in order to ensure that a decision in one area doesn't negatively impact operations elsewhere. If you looked at that perhaps at a more of a network strategy point of view, you also have an immense amount of complexity. Again, perhaps in oil and gas, we deal with a number of oil majors to optimize their network strategy. And there are exchange agreements in place between these oil and gas majors where they might be sourcing their product from a competitive supply point. The terms of those agreements as they get renegotiated can impact how the network should be structured. And we come up with the algorithms and the distribution plan to minimize the cost of serving their customers.
Any other types of decisions that are specific to the oil and gas industry that might play into this?
Sure. Well, we have some fantastic examples of operational decision support in oil and gas ports. If you consider the costs to an oil and gas major or a terminal operator around the demurrage fees that would be payable for vessels that aren't dealt with in the time slot that's available to them, we're able to manage all of the constraints around times, tides, the availability of resources such as pilots, refining capacity coming in, the storage and inventory in that particular port. And all of these factors need to get reconsidered every time there's a change. We've done a great deal of research into this area, and there are changes that require hundreds of recalculations and decisions by a scheduler in the port on a daily basis. Getting that wrong or having a suboptimal decision carries a huge impact onto that demurrage bill. So, for example, if a vessel is delayed by half a day, what does that do for the schedule? How best do you sequence your new schedule to minimize the costs to the business?
Interesting. Why are you at this event? What are you hoping to get out of it?
Well, oil and gas is a very strong sector for us. And I think the opportunity here to mix with some of the thought leaders, get an insight into how the industry is changing, the challenges that the industry faces. And I think really importantly, which they do a fantastic job of at this event, is the networking, the opportunity to get one-on-one time with some of the key decision makers and thought leaders in the industry.
Well, that wraps up our time here. I'd like to thank Anton for sharing his insights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.